heading up to the Blue Ridge Mountains this morning. It's my sister's birthday this weekend, and I'm delivering some gifts to her. Look at those Blue Ridge Mountains. Just beautiful. They always look so far away when I pull up the footage off of my GoPro and start to edit it. It seems like a country mile away, but the Blue Ridge Mountains are just beautiful. We have a sneaky road we're going to use to cut across over this way that is beautiful as well, that I'd like to share with you all. This is the very top of the Blue Ridge Mountains where Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway begin. We'll be going right by the mouth of it to get to my family's home. The weather, I've been getting rained on the better part of this trip. It finally let up, so I've decided to try and shoot some film real quick. But this part heads up into Front Royal, Luray, Flint Hill, Virginia area. Just a beautiful part of the state. When we start to dive into the history, all of this area over this part of the state was pretty much home plate for the Confederate Army during the Civil War here in the United States. And you will see loads and loads of historical sites all over the state just based on the Civil War. It's amazing. All the trees are starting to bud. You can see the red buds on the branches. Spring is springing. Where I live, and when I come up here to this part of the mountains, it's usually 10 degrees cooler up here. Quite a bit of temperature change for such a short ways away from home. A lot of wineries springing up all over the state. Virginia's primary produce used to be, I don't know, I have to check, but it used to be tobacco and apples. Tobacco, I'm sure you've all heard of Marlboros. They're based out of Richmond, Virginia, and that's where they're produced. And here you can see a real good view of the foothills. They get smoky sometimes. They get a lot of valleys of mist and fog, kind of like the Tennessee Smoky Mountains. My sister turns 65 this year. She's 6-7 years older than me, but God, at a blink of an eye, I feel like life has flashed by. Hard to believe. Crazy how old we're getting. And I cannot let a year go by without celebrating life with her, or any of my family for that matter. It's a sneaky road I was telling you about. Take a look, you'll see a lot of the stone fences. That's all from the Civil War era. Not uncommon to see fighting scenes of soldiers lined up for protection to hide behind these walls and start beating on each other. What a bloody war that was. But they have stood the test of time. There's one here on the left here, but it's all demolished from cars piling into it over the years. Isn't that beautiful? The Shenandoah Valley. Here's another vineyard on the left. Vineyard and apples, actually. You find a lot of structures and fences and things like that all made out of stone because this is a very rocky area, part of Virginia. So it was a natural resource of what to do with it when you dug it up to make these fields to plant crops in. They just found using the rock, they'd build their houses and structures with it. Kind of a gentle reminder for everybody When you're out riding, especially those of you that are just kind of entering into your riding season, spring, take it easy, guys and gals. Not a good time to lay your bike down and be in a hospital with the pandemic and COVID and all of that. So ride within your means, ride well below your means, play it cool, be safe, live to be a hooligan another day when we get through this mess globally. I just had my oh crap moment. I had a deer jump out in front of me, big old doe, maybe 100-pound critter. It was so close I could have reached out and touched it. That'll sure put your heart in your throat. Well, I'm on my way home, successful trip, dropped off the birthday gifts for my sister, and we ate some good food, and it was good to be around family. Not happening very often these days, for a multitude of reasons, but good to recharge my soul some. So I'm weaving my way through the mountains here on these beautiful roads, and they're not very beautiful right now with no leaves on the trees, but another 30-60 days this will be emerald green, a sea of green. Just beautiful. Aren't those mountains beautiful? I'm just surrounded by them. This valley is one of the prettiest parts of the entire state of Virginia, in my opinion. And I enjoy riding through here, taking a lazy ride, and enjoy the scenery. I love seeing all the old homes, heartland of America, the farms, cattle ranches. This small town we're going through is Flint Hill. And there's a lot of history in this little small, tiny little town, but it's turning into a quaint little town. You gotta watch your speed limit through here. The cops are pretty hard on you if you go over 25. There's coffee shops, cafes, there's a saddlery shop in here. It's the post office on the left. That's the saddle shop right there. These 100-year-old churches. Just a beautiful area. Give you a flavor of the state that I live in. What's funny about these small towns is generations have lived here. 2, 3, 4 generations in the same house. Crazy. It's quite brisk this morning. Got my heated grips set on low. I love my heated grips. They don't do a really good job of keeping your hands warm, but that said, they're plenty hot enough. I just have really poor circulation, so my hands get cold very easily, but I can wear summer gloves pretty much 3 seasons of the year with the heated grips. Just flip them on and it keeps them toasty. Don't really have to wear the winter gloves till it gets bitter cold. All our bulbs are coming up in the yard, backyard of the house, and looking beautiful. I'll be planting my garden here pretty soon. What's your all's favorite type of riding you like to do? Do you like to get up into the twisties and hit it really hard? Or do you prefer a lazy road down a country road? Stopping at a cafe for some lunch? Are you a stop and smell the roses kind of rider, where you pull over and take a lot of pictures? I tend to take weekend trips. Memory card is full in the facing camera, so I don't have any video facing me on the way home, but I wear in my backpack. I've got it down to a science what I take on a weekend trip. I take my laptop, necessary chargers, batteries for the cameras and all that, phone charger, and a change of clothes. I take my what I call a dock kit. That's a boating term, and the dock kit inside is my shaving kit and essentials for taking a shower and, you know, that kind of thing. Some people carry the kitchen sink when they travel, even for a weekend, you know, tools and tire patch kits, and I've gotten to the point in my life I'm not dealing with that. I'll carry a credit card and make a phone call and say, come get me. I'd rather pay the extra $100 to deal with that at the time than carry all that crap around every trip I take, if that makes sense. One thing I wanted to kind of mention is keep your cell phone on your person, meaning keep it in a pocket inside your jacket. Let's say a deer jumps out and I flip over that fence and I'm down behind it and hurt. If you have your phone on your person, you can at least call it and get some help. When you have it in your tank bag or saddlebags and things of that nature, not going to do you any good. Lay the bike down and you're in a bad way and you can't get to it. Just something to think about. A lot of people use these devices called a spot, and I've never got one of those. It sends out a GPS signal where you're at, and I guess it has a panic button you can push that alarms people where you're at that you need help. I travel alone so much, it's probably not a bad idea. And cell service isn't guaranteed, especially when you get up in these rural areas and mountain areas. You may not have cell service, so you may be out of luck there as well. Something to think about. Look at that big, beautiful home. And from here, I'm going to be weaving my way back home. Kind of taking back roads the whole way. This to me is what my riding style has evolved into. I find a reason to go take a ride. I find a historic spot that I've never been to learn something, gain a little education in my riding, a destination. Like I said, I ride alone pretty much 99% of the time. Or a new area that I haven't been to, but I have to kind of venture out kind of far to go to new areas because I've kind of covered most of my surrounding states. Unfortunately, Mrs. Kraken doesn't ride with me. She's had some surgeries over the years, and she can't, from the tissue that was damaged, repaired, or whatever, she can't take the jostling on the bike, so I've lost my riding partner. I always feel guilty when I leave home for a day or two, leaving her, but this is who I am, to the very core. If I died today, I'd be a wealthy man and a very happy man because I've gotten to enjoy what I love all my life. So what more can a person ask for? We're starting to dip down in elevation, and you can feel the temperature changes the lower I get. It's crazy when you get on those country roads that kind of go up and down and up and down. I swear you can feel a 10-degree difference between every peak and valley when you're going up and down those hills. It's crazy. I haven't really gotten into it this winter. I wanted to talk about my heated riding gear. My God, that's a game changer. And now batteries have evolved so much. You can get heated jackets and gloves and socks and everything else that are battery operated that last 8-10 hours. And you know, you can go to a sporting event in the middle of winter and be roasty toasty sitting in the stands. Crazy. I never have signed on for the battery ones because I won't be using them all summer, and it's not good to let batteries kind of sit around and not be cycled. Then again, I may not be very well educated on the cycling of LiPo batteries and that type of thing. And LiPo batteries kind of worry me in the sense that if you rupture them, they can explode. I don't know how that's handled on riding gear that's battery operated. If there's an inherent risk having a LiPo on your person, I don't know. You know, if you bail off the bike and the battery gets punctured in the process. Something to think about. But for now, my heated gear is wired in through my cord that I use to keep the battery topped off for the battery tent. And then I have a cordless thermostat for it that I can adjust the heat on the gloves or the jacket. I don't have any pants that are heated. My legs can usually take a lot more cold than I can in my trunk or my arms or my hands. My hands are the first to go. All these cutouts you see on the side of the road, Easter's coming up. So this weekend's trip was not very much in miles, 160, 170. Good to get almost 200 miles on the bike. Beautiful day to be alive. Sun is shining. I don't know about you guys, but when the sun is shining on me, I just smile and I feel better. Well, I think that's going to wrap this video up. Just a normal ride, and everyday ride in my life that I took you all along. I hope you enjoyed it. Nothing groundbreaking to share with y'all, but if you like this moto vlog, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go ride. It's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.